Well, good morning and welcome to the first class in the 8 Limbs of Yoga series. So if you guys saw the email that went out yesterday, we're going to be studying the 8 Limbs of Yoga. And this is a roadmap to enlightenment. So by the time we finish December 18th, you will all be enlightened. So good news. And I can share a little bit about this, and I'll share my screen so you can come close if you can't see the screen that well. There's some kind of tiny font. And we're going to basically go through all 5 yamas today, and then we're going to go through the 5 niyamas as each one an individual class after that, and then the rest of the limbs one by one. So let me know if you can see this poster. Yep, great. So the 8 limbs of yoga are often shown as a kind of like a hierarchy. You kind of go from 1 to 2 to 3 to 4 to 5, 6, 7, 8, poof, you're enlightened. And the problem I think that I had with that idea is it's kind of like as soon as you get to 1, you can kind of forget about the one below it. You kind of leave the rung behind. And I think one kind of epiphany came when I started to think less linearly and more cohesively about them. Like maybe they all have to kind of work together for you to have that sense of enlightenment, a sense of self-awareness and the awareness of you and the infinite merging. And so this image of the seed of life fit nicely with the 8 limbs. So the yamas, the first 5, are basically the things you should try not to do. And this is really about your relationship with other people. You know, if you're just kind of a hermit and you just kind of sit in your house and you never do anything good for anybody else, well, at least you're not harming anybody else. You know, you don't have to be a good person. It's better to be a neutral person than to be a bad person, to do bad things to others. So what you don't do is actually more important than what you do in relation to other people. So the first 5, Ahimsa, non-violence. We'll come back to that one. Satya, which can mean truth or non-lying or deception. Asteya, non-stealing. Brahmacharya, in the most strict sense, is celibacy. Like as a yogi or a monk, a lot of people would choose to be completely celibate, and they would restrain all sexual energy and contact. For the lay person or for the modern yogi, that's pretty rare. And you can practice Brahmacharya perhaps with more like faithfulness to your partner, protecting your sexual energy, just having more of a sexual integrity. And Aparigrahah means non-grasping, not always trying to get more and more and more. So a lot of this is pretty self-explanatory, right? We don't really have to go into a lot of details about why this would be important to have better community relationships. So the yamas, although they're seen as like a personal practice, they're really about community ethics. And this kind of red border, this is kind of like protecting yourself and protecting those around you, kind of creating boundaries, to saying, these are the things I will not do. This is my boundary. I'm not going to cross this boundary, so that I can maintain all my practices within this. Because even if I become a really strong and powerful and super aware person, and we see this a lot with gurus and leaders and teachers, they might forget about these basic yamas, and they might really misuse their power and deceive people or abuse people and so on and so forth. So all this stuff inside here can leak out and basically cause tons of problems if these yamas are seen as like the bottom rung and now we can go on to more important things. They're really the container. And the first yama is seen as the most important of all. If you're just going to practice one, practice nonviolence. And as I was thinking about what does that really mean, this book, which everybody in the world I think should have, oh sorry, I was pointing at the camera, Nonviolent Communication by Marshall Rosenberg. A lot of people have already, given me a thumbs up. Yes, it's a classic. It should be on every bookshelf. It's one to read every year, even if you have it. It talks about what is nonviolence. And on the back of the book, it says, first of all, what is violent communication? And it says, if violent means acting in ways that result in hurt or harm, then much of how we communicate, judging others, bullying, racial bias, blaming, finger pointing, discrimination, speaking without listening, criticizing others or ourselves, name calling, reacting while angry, political rhetoric, being defensive, judging who's good and bad, who's right and wrong with people, could indeed be called violent communication. And this is really powerful because we often think of violence as, hurting, like physically hurting people or oppressing people. But before anybody gets to that point of wanting to hurt or shoot somebody or kill somebody, all of these more softer forms of violent communication or violence are happening before that. There's going to be judgment, discrimination, bias, me versus them, all that stuff is definitely going to be there. So although we can kind of just lock up the bad guys and throw them in jail or, kill all the terrorists and then we'll have peace, it's not really going to work, because until we get to the root, the psychological, the spiritual, the internal violence that's happening, those manifestations will just continue. So we've seen countless proof of that. It's hard to dispute that. So today in class, Ahimsa is a non-violence, and I would recommend thinking of it more in these softer terms, the internal microaggressions, you might call it, the little things that we do in our own minds and hearts that we can really do something about. So let's stop and meditate for a little bit, and we can choose a theme or a focal point for today's class, and something that you would like to choose to change about your own internal dialogue, maybe some of the inner critic or the inner forms of violence that might be happening within our own self. So let yourself sit comfortably, shrug your shoulders back and down, make your body relaxed and alert. You can let your neck move around, stretching your head, swiveling a little bit, and just releasing any tension from the face and jaw. Letting your shoulders and back open up. Once you make your body a little more comfortable, let your head settle in the center, your eyes close. Take a few deep breaths in and out. Within your own mind, your inner dialogue, your inner communication with yourself, or maybe with those around you, what are some forms of violent thoughts? Disruptive, destructive, corrosive, painful thought patterns? What kind of habits do you have which you feel like you are ready to exchange for a different pattern? And consider, when you know what you don't want, that you also know what you do want. you can define what you do want generally as the opposite of what you don't want. So as you affirm, I know what I don't want, I know what I do want. And you can establish a little mantra or an affirmation. It goes something like this. When I notice blank, what I don't want, I will cultivate blank, what I do want. So for example, it might be, when I notice criticism, I will cultivate kindness. So you can choose your own violent and non-violent tendencies that you think may come up at some point during class or throughout the day today. It could seem very small, but something that is important to you. Notice blank, I will choose to cultivate blank. You can just repeat that a few times in your mind, letting that affirmation soak in. Deep breath in, and long exhale out. Deep breath in, and exhale out. You can rub your palms together, warming up your hands, massaging around your eyes, getting those fluids moving behind your eyes and sinuses. Around your forehead or your neck. Alright, and now you can rotate your waist in a Sufi grind, circling around. Couple of times, and then reverse and go the other way. Good, and then seated spinal cord breathing. Inhale, exhale, let your hands just slide forward and back as your shoulders round and curl, your spine arching and bending, your head lifting and lowering, your pelvis tilting and tucking, your breath filling and emptying. Wonderful. Let's move up to your feet now. You can come to a standing position and grab your bow staff. Let's get your body warmed up. Feel free anytime during class, you can open your mic if you want to ask questions, or if you think there's a technical issue happening, you can always let me know. Let's start with your staff over your shoulders, draped comfortably across the back. Make sure you're not pressing your head forward or your neck. It's more the shoulders and upper back, if you can get down there. Your hands go wide so your heart and chest open. Your breath comfortable and full. You can lift your back heel as you rotate, turning your waist. And as you breathe, you can keep bringing that affirmation back into your mind. Anytime I notice this form of perhaps a micro-violent expression, instead I will cultivate this more benevolent choice. Something I'd prefer to think and feel and bring into the world. Go ahead and swim forward and rotate. And breathing out. Wonderful. Let your neck and back and shoulders warm. Release. One of the most obvious ways to practice nonviolence, especially in a yoga class, is if you're feeling like you're having pain or you're pushing yourself too hard or something like that, make sure to modify right away. Go ahead and reverse and go backward. In the book Nonviolent Communication, there's really a lot of principles and practices that yogis and people interested in mind-body work will find familiar and very natural. For instance, the 4 steps to nonviolent communication. The first one is observation. Being able to be observant, to see things without judgment, to just see what's happening without putting a story on it. So that practice of detachment, the observer, you'll find that in mindfulness and meditation. That skill will be really, really powerful and useful. So go ahead and roll your neck, massaging. Feeling the base of the neck, the skull. So one way to practice being observant is noting non-judgmentally. I'm feeling this sensation right here and I'm feeling that sensation there. I'm noticing this is happening here, I'm noticing that's happening there. And not judging or placing a value on it, but observing it with neutrality. So feeling the neck, the shoulders, the back. It can seem deceptively simple, but it's amazing how tricky that can be sometimes. Roll the back. And now let's do a little shoulder massage. Take your right hand up, your left arm comes down. Carry the staff over like a sack of potatoes. Your back palm faces down. And now lever and massage that top shoulder. Digging in. Turning your head a little bit. The front hand can slide closer to increase the intensity or further out to soften it. And you can roll from left to right across the muscle fibers. Let your jaw and face relax here too. You can stretch your mouth open and make funny faces, stretching your many facial muscles. One day I'm going to get certified in face yoga. There's an actual series, a whole style called face yoga. It's all stretches you do with your face and tongue and mouth. I think think it'll be a lot of fun. And it's amazing how much tension we hold in our faces. The tension that's usually connected to emotional expression. You know, our faces are very expressive. They're deeply tied into our emotions. So I can see how stretching the face could really tap into something deeper. Press down on your shoulder, tilt your head away from that side and feel the edge of your neck. You can even gently turn your head left, right, or up and down and make little circles. Feeling those neck muscles release. All right, now switch your hands. So slide to the end, release the back arm, reattach to the front, release the front arm, and now same thing, left arm behind you, stack of potatoes, palm down, and lever that left shoulder and trap. The front hand can slide closer. You can roll up, down, side to side. Really explore on your own once you get the hang of this. Kind of like every time I teach class, I vacuum this whole carpet area, and sure enough, every week there's a whole lot of cat hair, there's a whole lot of dust. It's kind of like this with our shoulders. We just did it last week, but there's a whole lot of tension that can build up in a week if you haven't done it since then. Those little tiny, like microscopic, you don't even see it. Those little hairs, little dust, little stressors, little tension, it just starts gathering and gathering until one day it's a hairball. So press down and hold. Tilt your head, breathe out. You can move your chin around, drawing little shapes, and feel how that affects the neck, how your throat and neck and shoulders are all connected here. Wonderful. Go ahead and release your hands. Take your staff up and over and down in front of you. Shrug your shoulders out. Take your feet wide. Bring your hands apart. And now circulate. And shoulders and arms rotate around your back. You can not just circle around your body, but you can squeeze and pull the staff apart and together. Almost like it's a slinky. That isometric pulling and pushing will activate and engage some interesting new sensations and wake up new parts of you. So play around with that too. Adding new observations, new awareness to your movement. Wonderful. Go ahead and reverse when you're ready. Go the other way. Practicing the observation, the first step of nonviolent communication. What do I observe in my body? And now take your hands up and go back and down to the left. Release your bottom hand so that your staff is dangling along with your spine. Flip your left hand backward and reattach it, palm facing out. And now you can, one arm at a time, pull the other one down. So the bottom hand pulls the top hand down, and then you slide up, or the two hands just kind of walk together. You can kind of itsy bitsy spider your fingers also. And it doesn't matter if your hands reach or touch or anything. You're gonna find your edge, and that's just fine where it is. You're gonna breathe. Breathing out. And you can then rotate to the left, gently turning your chest. Feeling the arms and shoulders, and if pain starts cropping up or the discomfort continues to swell, then just ease off. Give yourself some slack. Don't keep holding on. And then come back to center. Let your bottom hand slide down. Release. Your top hand comes up. Relax. Let go. And you can shake out if there's any soreness after coming out of that. And now we'll do the other side. So 2 hands up above your head, like you're hanging on a monkey bar. Go down to the right. Release your right hand. Flip your palm back, reattach. And then draw your fingers toward each other, gently creeping up the water spout. Bringing the hands toward each other as you breathe. During our class, the richness, the intensity, the variety of sensations and new sensations can provide a really good training ground to be observant, to practice observation, non-judgmental awareness. I feel this, I notice that. Go ahead and release. And take your arms up and over and relax, shrug it out. All right, take your hands behind you now, your staff to the hips and the sacrum. Slide your hands in to the lower back, or the sacrum rather, the hips. Feet wide, head centered, hips back, side, front, and side, and circle your waist around. So the second step in nonviolent communication, after you observe and you notice what you're feeling, what happened, what was done, what was said, the second step is feelings. What do I feel? What emotions are present? So throughout class today, you can also notice that perhaps different feelings will emerge, arise, pass through from all kinds of sources. Go ahead and reverse and go the other way. Noticing the feelings pass through you in a situation like a yoga class where you can process them. It could be really helpful rather than in an interaction. Breathing comfortably as you rotate your waist. Nicely done. Now brace your hips, ground your feet, press downward and forward through your pelvis with your arms as you draw your shoulders back, elongate your spine, big arch, big smile perhaps. You can stretch your face and tongue here, a little face yoga. Opening up the front body. Feel the warmth spreading through you. Bend your knees, soften, and come back to center. Wonderful. And now, feet wide, plant the staff at the center. I'm hearing music. You guys aren't hearing it? I guess. Are other people hearing it? No? Okay. Thanks for letting me know. Yeah, I thought I had done it right, but let me check here. Thanks for letting me know. Oh, you're right. I hadn't put it in there. How about? Awesome. Yeah, let me know. Thank you for letting me know. I usually try to play music during class, so if you don't hear it, then could be something wrong. All right. Feet wide. Plant your staff at the center. Lean forward, hips back. Elongate your spine. And now shift your hips from left to right. You can feel the inner thighs and the legs warming up. Turning a little bit, you can feel the edges of your body. Kind of making a letter C. Observing different sensations come up. And now take your left hand up high, Your right hand down low. Rotate toward the upper hand side. And breathing out. And a smooth rotation through the chest, the back. Good. On the inhale, come back to center. Switch your hands now. Right hand up, left hand down. Upper body rotates, twist, turn toward the upper hand side. Nice long exhale out. Back to center. Bend your knees and rise back up. Shoulders shrug back and down and release. Wonderful. Now left leg back, right leg forward. Front lunge and glide. Feeling those back hips warm up. A couple of variations you could try. The front knee can glide with your middle toe. The back heel can also come up if you want to do a little more of a challenging version, the crescent lunge. Do try to lighten your touch on the staff. Try to just hold with your fingertips, or even not at all, it's okay. And then hold there, raise your arm up, inhale. Open your front body. If you're feeling steady, or if you want to put your heel down for this next half of the pose, you can raise your hands up. Find the version of this position that works best for you. Find which part of it you can do if the full thing isn't available to you. Good. On your exhale, lower the hands down. And now plant the staff with a light touch next to your front foot, in front of the arm. Take your free hand forward and rotate, turning to the side, gently twisting as you breathe. Keep that front lunge so your front knee stays bent, your hips rotate, your head and neck. Try to lighten your touch on the staff. You might even straighten the arm out. Create more of a rotation here. Breathe. All right, exhale, come back, and now reverse. Right hand, right foot in front, the other hand turn. Check that knee doesn't collapse into the middle. Keep it over the ankle as you rotate your waist and head and neck, looking behind you. That free hand can also wrap. There's a bind you can do. You reach around your back and across the hip like you're trying to go into your other pocket, and use that to draw the chest open more. If you're hanging on the staff, try not to. Try to just touch it lightly. If you need it, you can hang on it, but try to lighten your touch when you can. And exhale, come back to center. And now shorten your stance a little bit, but stay facing the same way. Square your hips. Lace your fingers at the center line. Hips move back as your arms move forward, folding into pyramid pose. And feel the sensation spread down the backs of your legs, firming your arches. Feel the length stretching across your upper, middle, and lower back evenly. Backs of your arms. Become observant. When you're ready, bend your front knee and rise up. Beautiful. Switch your legs. Let's do the other side. Rock front to back. Gliding. Bringing your mind back to your affirmation. As I notice this quality, I cultivate that quality. And you make it to the point where you don't even have to have the first part. You can simply cultivate the second part directly. Raise your hand up high and breathe. I cultivate this quality. If you'd like, you can take both hands. Find your personal version of Warrior One. As your body feels more open, more joyful, less painful, you might find those qualities are easier to exchange. Come back down. And your leading hand now will rotate and twist, turning. If you've ever noticed a correlation between your body, how it feels, and the mind state, inner voice, we can often make our bodies feel a lot better, and that does help our attitudes, our thoughts. Exhale, come back to center. Now reverse. Leading hand and foot, same side. Now twist the other way. Giving your spine a delicious twist. Opening your chest, your heart, your lungs, turning your head and neck, finding your balance. Coming back to center now, square your hips and your shoulders, pyramid pose. Hips back, pressing downward through the staff to elongate your spine. It's like you're driving a stake into the ground. You're pressing down as you tilt. And feel the control you have, the ability to distinguish and to decide where the pressure moves. Deep breathing once you're in the position. When you're ready to come back, bend your front knee. Press down through the foot as you rise up. And return to center. Alright, shrug and shake out any little tensions left over. Alright, give your body a little shake. Alright, a little balance and hip opening. Your part of your daily dozen. Take that same side foot, lift and rotate. Feeling the core stay centered and strong as you open the hip. For a challenge, simply take away the staff or lighten the touch. And reverse. Wonderful. And the other way. The wonderful thing about exchanging energy, taking the tension out of the upper body and turning it into strength in your lower body. Stress and tension is potential energy. It's something you can use, you can redistribute, reallocate. It's not something to just let go of, you can redirect it. Reverse, go the other way. Perhaps the same is true with our inner voices, the energy we spend being critical or negative. could be potential energy we could place into a more positive direction. Reallocating the resources. Shake that leg out and release. Excuse me. Toes and heels now. Feet together, staff centered. Go up on your toes, back on your heels. Ankle pumps. Shoulders back and down, light. Clear upper half. Good. Warming the lower half. All right, and shake your legs out, release. A couple more balance challenges. We're gonna work on building the stability and strength in the lower body. Take your staff to your right hand. Lift your right knee up. And then you can do a fire kick, extending forward. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Just pick any height. 7, 8, 9, 10. And now hold it there. Hold it, hold it, hold it. For a challenge for your balance, you can raise your hands. 9, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and return. Shake it out. Let's switch, other side. The staff can act as a edge. So if you lift the right leg, the staff is here, so you have 2 supports between the lifted leg. That'll give you the most stability, but it works on either side. Let's begin. 1, 2, fire kicks. 3, 4. As the strength builds, you can just simply kick higher. Lighten the touch on the staff if you like. Now hold. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Shake it out. Very nice. Now this next one, you may not feel a whole lot. It's actually hard to strengthen the hamstrings without extra weights. What we just did there was more for the front, the quads and hip flexors. So how do you get to the back? You do leg curls, like that. So let's start with just standing lightly, and you bring your heel up toward your butt. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Challenge your balance if you can. 7, 8, 9, 10. Now hold it up there, hold it up. This is where you could have ankle weights, or you could put a band down if you want to add extra challenge, but just hang in there for now. You may start to feel the back there, the hamstrings working. And release and shake it out. Other side, kick the butt. 1, 2, 3, 4. One way to make it more challenging is to stand on a folded blanket. 5, 6, giving yourself a softer surface. 7, 8, always make it a little tougher. 9, 10. Now hold, hold. And I guess I'm just discovering now you could use your staff and try to push your heel down with your, that's actually pretty fun. We'll go back and try the other side. Okay, shake it out. All right, we just discovered a new hamstring exercise. So let's go back to the first leg. Now for this, because your balance, you can't use your staff for balance, you may want to grab onto a wall or a chair. But you're gonna lift your heel up, you're gonna aim your staff, and this does take a little aim. Put the tip right on the heel, and then you just apply some pressure. And you just push try to push your foot down and your foot tries to stay up. And do you feel now the hamstring? Before you might say, oh, I don't really know what's working here, but now that hamstring is certainly gonna wake up. All right, switch again, try the other foot. You might even try putting the staff on the heel while it's on the floor, and then lift it up. That's even better, huh? So you put your staff on the heel, grab onto something, and then you just try to lift it from the ground up with a little resistance from the staff. Takes a little control, right? Do you feel the back hamstrings working there? And hold it. All right, give your legs a little shake. Nice. So yeah, we often don't really think about the ways to exercise the hamstrings. They're a little harder to get to than a lot of other ones, so that's one way to do it. Now the outer hips, very important also for balance. So take your feet, your hands out wide, your feet together. You can turn the foot toward the inside, the inner foot toward the inside slightly, other hand on the hip, and then your outer leg is going to raise up like this. It's really important that your toes stay forward and they don't drift out to the side. If the toes drift out, it's your quads working. Toes forward or even inward, it's your hips. Glute medius working here. Okay, 10 times and then hold for 10, 9, 8, challenge your balance, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Anytime after you work out those hips, you can tap and roll. And give it a little shake. Other side. So the staff on one end, the toe turns slightly out so that your hips can open more. Empty the foot, hand to hip, side lifts. 1, 2, 3. Pick a appropriate height. 4, 5. Challenge your balance, lighten the touch. Or even lift off if you like. 9, 10, now hold it there, 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, all right, 1. Tap and roll. Good work. So I suppose if we can do the hamstrings, we can also get to the inner thighs, the adductors too. So there's a couple of ways you can do that. And one, you can bring your staff down to the floor and take your foot on the outside like this. You're basically just creating resistance to an adduction where the foot goes inward. So you hold it and you just kind of sweep your foot across like this. Sweep it across. Do be mindful your balance might be challenged, so hang on to something if you need, or come close to a wall, or you can even do it seated. Just crossing over with little resistance from the staff. So the adductors are the muscles in the inner thighs that add the legs together. They move together, adding. Abductors abduct your legs like you're getting abducted by aliens. They move out and away from you. So ad goes in, ab goes out. Now hold it, 10 seconds in. Hold it, press, press, press. Trying to feel the inner thighs working. And it's okay to press the staff to the ground for a little bit of balance. And release, shake it out. Now the other side, bring the staff to the inside of the arch, and slide across your body with a little bit of resistance. Now, if that's really hard on your balance or it's not working for you, You could also just do it isometrically. So you plant the staff and it doesn't move, but you just push into it with your leg. And you'll feel the inner thighs engage as you try to push against the immovable object. That's an isometric where you push without movement. Or you can try it with movement and that resistance there. So a couple of options. Your standing leg's working hard too, right? I'm getting pretty warm, I don't know about you. All right, now hold it and either press isometrically for 10, 9, or press it across and hold it. 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Release. All right, we did all 4 sides of your hips and legs. How are they feeling? You feeling like doing a river dance now? After a leg exercise, it's always amazing how responsive the legs are. You can often feel it immediately. So let's do our side lunges just to stretch out any little kinks that might remain there. Feet wide, toes out, staff in the center, and shift from left to right, gliding. Gliding side to side. Nice. And then hold on one side, lean the staff to the shoulders, slide forward, and reach down toward the feet. And it's fun how when you change planes, when you move from vertical to horizontal, you can feel the sensation spreading across different parts of your legs. Practice that observational skill, first step of nonviolent communication, and second step, what feelings arise? What emotions are present? Go ahead and switch to the other side. Lean on the other shoulder, slide your hand down the other leg. Fold and twist as you breathe. And back to center, bend the knees and rise up. Give your legs a shake. And let's give your legs a little dessert after all that hard work. Put your staff down in front of you. Take your foot and roll the sole, massaging your arch. Pressing in and gliding left to right, front to back. If you've been looking for your soulmate, well, you may have found it. Massage that sole of your arch, tilting and pressing, and now you can milk the foot, pressing and releasing from heel to toe, milking the foot. It's like toothpaste coming out of the tube. You press from one end to the other, release the fascia. All right, and roll. Nicely done. Stand for a moment before switching sides. Practice that observational skill. What is the difference in feeling? And now the other side, rolling your arch. Turning it left to right, rolling front to back. And then press and release, leaning in and out. Milking the foot. Beautiful, and roll it out, release. Pause for a moment there, standing and sensing that full body circulation. Feel the feet merging with the earth. Alright. Let's take a 30-second water break. If you need to sip on something, or if you just want to sit and take a short little rest, feel free. And if you can find yourself a folded blanket or a big thick pillow or cushion, we're going to use that for some floor poses. Luckily I have a backup blanket because my loose looks far too comfy to disturb. And grab your longest bow staff. If you've got several sizes, the 6-footer will be ideal here, but if you've got the 5-footer, that works too. And just keep it to the side. We're gonna move to the floor now and do a couple of floor practices. We can start off, a nice transition pose from standing is the cat and cow. So just come to hands and knees and make sure to always adjust if your knees bother you or wrists. Just modify, use your cushions, or you could do elbows if your wrists hurt. Pad the knees if that hurts. Curl in and out. Rounding your back, tuck in the pelvis, chin. Inhale, cow, back and forth. Now you can roll over to your back and tuck in your knees. Roll your spine up and down. This is also fun, the back rolling. If you have a short staff, or any staff should work as long as you don't hit something, put it under your knees, behind your knees, and use it as a handlebar with your palms up. And especially if you have trouble rolling all the way up to seated, the staff will actually help a lot with that. And it takes pressure off your neck. Good. Rolling, rolling, rolling. Okay, now got a little core practice for you. The staff is optional. You can sit up nice and tall, and if you've got the staff under your knees here, you can use it to balance up in a boat pose. If you're having back pain or you have vulnerabilities there, instead you can just put your hands behind you, and that'll take a lot of pressure off your back, and you can draw your chest forward that way. So find the version that works best for you. Hang in there. For a little more of a challenge, you can straighten out your knees and bring your chest forward. And of course, as usual, the most advanced version is to do it with a big smile. And hold. Feel the heat boiling, bubbling in your belly. Drawing the front, activating the front body. All right, relax. Once again, lay back. This time you can open your arms, bend your knees, and twist from left to right. You're supine spinal twist. Breathing out. Open the arms, bend the knees, and turn, and now hold it on one side. Your hand can rest on the top knee. Your head can turn opposite. Long breath out. And then reverse, go the other way. Turn, let your hand rest on the knee, head turns opposite. This is part of my daily dozen, the most essential postures you could do every day. Long exhale. And back to center. All right, little circles. You can massage your hips, lower back. And reverse. Now before we go into some more twists, let's do a happy baby pose. You reach your hands up and grab your toes. And there's actually a fun version you could do with the staff where you just put the staff on your feet and you hold it and pull it in towards you. Sometimes it's a little easier to reach than your feet and toes, and it gives you more of an even pressure and a little bit more loading, if that's what you're looking for. So you just place it on your soles and you just kind of hang. You don't have to try to force it. You just hang. Charlize has discovered this pose. You can now put her foot in her mouth. So if you want to do happy teething baby pose, you just put your toe in your mouth, chew on it a little bit. It's a very advanced posture. It's nice to do a little rocking here, left to right, and don't fall over, but just a little rocks. Wonderful. And let your hips down. Okay, roll to your side, have the seat back up. And we're gonna do a Marichi's pose, a seated twist with the bow staff, and you really wanna have something to sit on when you do this. So a folded blanket, and you really almost can't be too high. It's better to be higher than lower here. And generally a firm cushion rather than one that just collapses when you sit on it is good. I'm gonna use this, it's even a little more firm. So sit on your cushion, straighten your legs out to Dandasana, which translates to staff pose. Dandasana, you straighten your back and your legs out. And you just do a little forward fold and you get a hamstring stretch pretty immediately here. And take your staff to your right side. The longest one you've got, 6 foot or 5 foot is best. Okay, now take the staff behind your back, just to get started, and put 2 hands, both palms facing forward. And now, with your hands attached, swing around your right hip. It should press the edge of your right hip, and this hand can slide out. You place the tip between your 2 feet. All right, bend the left knee. Wrap your leg with your right arm, and the hand on the back arm should gently open. The leverage will help open this part here, the pecs, the chest, the shoulder. Sitting up taller and taller. That's the cushion is here, otherwise you'd be slouching, most of us. So sitting up tall and breathe. Turn and look behind you and find your breath. You all right? My cat just fell off the chair. She's good. Breathe. All right, exhale. So simply rewind the way you came in. Straighten your leg, unhook your foot, and then slide the staff around to your back. The 6-footer is a little more cumbersome, so if you've got furniture right nearby, it might be to move it around. Hopefully that felt nice enough to do the other side. Let's rotate around the left hip. Place the tip between your 2 feet. So you've got 3 points of contact, foot, hip, and hand. Bring it down so it's not digging into your side, it's more on the hip if you can. Bend the right knee. Wrap with your left arm to turn your chest, lifting tall up as you inhale, and this other palm is facing out. Thumb is on top. Supported Marichi's pose, a delightful seated twist. Inhale, getting taller. Exhale, turning further. On your exhale, rewind. Release the foot. Straighten the leg and facing forward. Wonderful. And there's another seated stretch which is really nice, and you can have the 6-footer, any staff will work. The smaller one's really all you need, so grab a staff, bring your feet together into butterfly. Make sure you're still sitting up on your cushion, and you place the tip, the base of the staff, either on the cushion or between the feet, somewhere, anywhere is fine, and then you walk your hands up the end of it, and then you gently rock back and forth. Not forcing anything, but just finding your edges, and as you rock forward, you press down through the staff, which takes pressure off your spine. It elongates your back. You can even very lightly move from left to right. I invite you to explore the pose a little bit, trying some slight variations of your own. Maybe one arm reaches further than the other. Getting to the point where you trust your body enough to play. Play is really the expression of trust. If you can play within the postures, play with the sensations of your body and the loads and forces you put on it, that's a really powerful form of trust. All right, release and relax. Let your shoulders shrug back and down. Wonderful. And hands come behind you now, and just prop up your back, lift your shoulders, arch your back, head, relax. And a gentle counter pose. All right, back to center. And we've done a lot of work on the legs today, so stay up on that cushion if you're not getting tired of it yet, and stick out your right leg all the way out to the side. Tuck your left heel in. If you're on a cushion, sit on the front edge of it so your pelvis kind of rocks forward a little. And stretch the inside of your leg here. Good. And then your hand will slide down, your chest will open up. And raise your arm up high, inhale. And like the sun rising over the sky, very slow arc over your body as you breathe. Your inhale, raise back up and return. Plant your hand on the floor opposite your hip. Your other hand will raise up. Put your foot down. And if you're able to, balance on your knee. Lift your hips up, knee, hand, and foot, 3 points of contact, and stretch your other arm. A kneeling side angle pose. It's one long line from heel to fingertip. And sit back down, relax. Hand on the inner knee, tuck it in, and switch. Other side. Open that hip outward, tuck this heel inward. Roll the pelvis forward. That's one of the secrets to this. And it's so nice to sit up on something, it makes it much easier. If you can roll the pelvis forward, you're going to get into a nice alignment with several body parts, hips, thighs, knees, all that. Open the chest, reach down toward the shin, the ankle, or the toes. Open this side of the body as you reach up, breathe. And there's no rush here, patience. Find your affirmation, cultivating the quality you're wanting to cultivate today. Putting it into practice through your choices and actions within the class. Building your observational awareness. Inhale, raise your hands back up. Straighten your back. Plant the hand opposite the straight leg. Other hand raises up, put the foot down. And if you can, balance up on hand, knee, and foot. And then reach. This planted hand might need to go wider to give you more stability. Elongate your chest. You can even look up at the sky as you breathe. On your exhale, let your arm come down and sit back. Wonderful. All right, go ahead and lay down. You can move all your props off to the side. If you need anything for Shavasana though, you can keep it within reach so you don't have to stand up and go grab it. So pillows, blankets, teddy bears, or anything you want. Go ahead and roll on your back one more time. Up and down, side to side. One more hip stretch. Straighten your right leg, cross it over your left knee. Two hands will hold the left thigh, either behind the leg or all the way to the shin. Figure four pose. Draw your knees in and outer hips open. Full breath. When you're ready, you can release and switch sides. Start with the knees bent, cross the ankle and shin over the thigh, reaching in between the legs and outside the legs to grip the shin or thigh and draw the knee towards you. Figure 4 pose. And when you're ready, release. And we're going to move into Sleeping Tiger, flattening your lower back on the floor, drawing your legs up in the air. Your knees about a fist width apart, feet the same distance. The thighs angled so that you feel the pressure on the low belly, but you remain flattened with your lower back on the ground. Your fingertips can rest on the low belly with your elbows wide. The shoulders slide back and down. Chin tucks down. Funneling all your power and attention to your center, low abdomen. If this position is new for you, it could take a while before you settle in and feel the power. You may just feel the fatigue and the challenge. But over time, as you break through the blockages in hips in particular, there's a feeling of accumulation, like a funneling, like a reservoir filling up. So as you build that reservoir, as you build that boundary to accumulate this inner power, you'll start to feel the energy swelling inside of you. Establishing your own boundaries, your own yamas, the things you choose not to do. You can also gain internal power, build a reservoir of energy, of self-confidence, of self-trust, self-respect. With each breath, draw this energy inwards. When you're ready, hug your knees to your chest and draw it in, relax. Beautiful work. And hopefully you're ready now for a refreshing Shavasana. There's several things you can do to make your Shavasana more peaceful. Propping your body, even placing a rolled blanket under your knees, can help your back and your whole body relax. So rolling a blanket under the knees, or placing your legs up on the edge of a couch, on the seat of a couch or chair, elevating your legs. If your chin tucks up and your head goes back, you might put a pillow under your head. It's helpful to dim the lights, or to, even better, use an eye pillow. The pressure of an eye pillow on your forehead and eyes has a calming effect, and you shut out the light that even gets through your eyelids, which is actually a lot. You may not realize until you try an eye pillow. A way to enter a deep state of relaxation in a short amount of time is leg rocking. Rocking your legs in and out, even just for 1 or 2 minutes, has an amazing calming effect. So settle in your Shavasana. Breathing out. Let your mind and body rest. Just like a beautiful Zen painting, the spaciousness, the empty space, is equally, if not more important, than the filled spaces. Give your mind some empty space. Let go of grasping. Practice the 5th Yama, Aparigrahah, non-grasping. And if you want to stay a little bit longer in your Shavasana, you can feel free to continue. You can turn off your device. If you're ready to transition back, begin moving your hands. You can rub your palms together with warm hands. Massage your eyes and face. Stretching arms and legs. And you can bend your knees and rotate side to side. And roll to one side. Taking this transition very slowly. And returning to a comfortable seat. Let's join your palms together in front of your heart. May these practices of nonviolence, non-grasping, honesty, non-stealing, and cultivating your inner vitality serve you throughout the rest of your weekend. Thank you so much for joining. Namaste.